It's time. The draft's over. Reality is kicking in. Vj Edgecombe and Johni Broome are the newest Sixers. Now, I could have dropped this video 2 days ago. I don't really care about views. I wanted to really digest it myself because obviously if you look on my channel, I had certain opinions. Now, those other opinions weren't directed towards Vj Edgecombe. They were more so directed towards the fit of the team. But I like to dissect things. And when I sat back, had more time to reflect, watch Vj Edgecombe in detail more, and think about how he can fit on this team better, not going to lie, I'm starting to get a bit more sold. Now, obviously, I'm not going to necessarily change my opinion on what I thought should have happened. But VJ is here now. And I'm sure if you watched his, post-draft interview, he is such a good guy. Like, you can see why he sold the Sixers brass at the dinner because you can see where he comes from. He comes from proper struggle, proper hunger. Me, myself, I got parents that came from Nigeria. The generator thing really hit because when I go back to Nigeria here and there, they still live like that. Light runs on the generator. It's not like the US or the UK where light's consistent. There's a different level of hustle and you can see his hunger. And that alone is what's going to make you think like, yeah, even if he struggles, you're not going to worry about this guy not being a gym rat. You're not going to worry about this guy not giving 110%. You're not going to worry about this guy not diving for loose balls because guess what? That's how he's been brought up and he's carrying and still carries that chip on his shoulder no matter where he goes. That's someone who's going to be scary. That's someone who the sky's the limit. You can't put a ceiling on someone like that because his own ceiling depends on his work ethic. And his work ethic is through the charts. So that's so intriguing to see. He's someone who, even if he comes in day one, the jumper isn't falling, or there's some things to be desired offensively, you best believe he's going to work on it. He's not going to be someone who's going to sit there and be like, I'm getting no minutes and start sulking. He's going to be in the gym 24/7. He gets drafted. Couple hours later, he's working out in Sixers gear. This guy's a gym rat. I see exactly why they made the pick. And you know what? I've come to the realization, maybe Ace Bailey might be more talented right now or have more God-given talent. But guess what works better than talent? Hard work. And VJ is someone who you can craft him into being a superstar. He ain't going to be stubborn. There's no ego about him. So down the line, he could really take a leap over so many guys just based on that one attribute he has. You can somewhat teach talent, but you can't teach work ethic. And that's something which I'm sure the city is going to love. Now, let me move on slightly to Johni Broome. I'm going to get back onto Vj Edgecombe because he is the main centre of attention. Now, Johni Broome's someone who I've actually done a lot of research on because a couple of years ago, I was doing some draft things and for the Houston Rockets, don't ask me why, but I looked at him in detail when it was rumoured he'd entered the draft 2 years ago. And yes, you could look at his funny vertical scores in the combine and be like, this guy can't jump. But what if I told you this guy over his college career has averaged damn near 3 blocks a game? The guy's timing, because that's the thing. You can be an athlete, but if you don't have the right basketball instincts, you're just going to be jumping for pump fakes and fouling. If you have the right basketball instincts, blocking the ball's all about timing. He's already 6'9" or 6'10". And that's exactly why he's such a good shot blocker. His instincts and timing are phenomenal. Now, a lot of people might be like, why has Daryl decided to draft the center at 6'9", who's like 22, 23 years old in the second round? I'm going to tell you why. So I don't believe Andre Drummond's still going to be here. However, Johni Broome brings a different factor. I think Adam Bonner's ready to be the backup center, by the way. I'm going to add that. But that gives you more of like a safety point in that, yes, Johni Broome is a rookie, but there's certain things which you've watched him do because he started off at a low major D1 school, worked his way out to Auburn. He's actually very good at not fouling. So yes, in NBA terms, he's a rookie, but he has certain levels of experience, which I believe can not translate right away, but to be a good third string center, sure. There's not a problem with that. I feel like if you look at his game as well, with someone who doesn't have standout athleticism or standout anything, he finds a way to get the ball in the hoop. He started off as a non-shooter. He developed into, I'm not going to call him respectable, but he can hit a wide open shot here and there. That's something which you look at and be like, yeah, he's developing his game. He had no post game before. Now he has a little something. You can throw the ball to him down low. And he has a couple post moves in his arsenal. It's not like something we've been subjected to for the past 3 to 5 years of backup centers that really have no offensive bag. I'm not going to tell you this guy's a skilled offensive player. I'm not going to tell you he's amazing. However, what I will tell you is that for the value of the pick and what you're looking at getting, I don't think it's a terrible pick at all. Especially someone who's watched Johni Broome extensively. I think he's a good addition. Because guess what? If you plan to spike up a Dan Bonner to that role of being a backup center, we've already seen that he is so athletic, has so much potential, but it's timing. Once he gets that down, the sky's the limit. Johni Broome's someone who I think timing's his strong suit. Now, we've got to see how that translates to the NBA. But I really do like the chances of that becoming a thing which sticks with him. So I'm not mad at that pick at all. Safe pick as well. Now, going back onto Vj Edgecombe, because I know what certain people are like. They're going to be like, look at your channel, you were an Ace Bailey guy, da-da-da-da. One thing I quite clearly said is that Daryl has a fantastic track record of drafting. Ever since he's got here, he's maximised the value of every pick we've got times 1,000. Jared McCain was the 16th pick. He's the best player in his draft. Tyrese Maxey, the top 2 player in his draft, was picked at 21. He's got value throughout the draft. So anyone Daryl selects, I have full confidence he's done his due diligence. And with Vj Edgecombe, I can see why you've picked him. I really can. The talent is definitely there. Now, I want to see how well it can translate, but you can already see flashes in his game of Jimmy and, dare I say, Anthony Edwards, like a lot of people like to say. But regardless of that, he's going to be a guy that's going to pick up 94 feet. He's got such great defensive tools, and the guy's showtime. That athleticism you can't buy. You can't train that either. It's either you have it or you don't. And this guy has it. I'll tell you that for free. I was going to say this kid has it, but I remembered me and VJ are damn near the same age. We're both 20. But it's a breath of fresh air. You know, if you look at the guys the Six have selected, such as Tyrese and Jared McCain, gym rats, guys that want to get better, guys that relish the opportunity and actually go through the hardship of not playing. And instead of sitting there thinking they're too good for that, they earn their minutes. So when they earn their minutes, you can't take away from them because they ball out. I think VJ's off that same mode. I'm not going to talk about Ace Bailey anymore, but you're seeing reports that he's not showed up to Utah yet. We'll see if that changes. You don't want an attitude here. You're not a guy who, it might not be rainbow and sunshine his first couple months here, but he's someone who's going to really grind out at that hardship, grind his way to minutes, and make it impossible for Nick Nurse to look away from him when he's going to the bench and be like, VJ needs to stay in the game. I'm thoroughly excited to see him in Summer League. I want to see what he's like. I want to see a baseline of VJ's game properly. Whether he looks a bit too raw, and I think he is a very raw prospect with a lot of upside. I definitely want to see where he is now and the leaps he takes. Because one thing I like about prospects who aren't necessarily shooters coming in, I love to see their progress because it's so astronomical from day one to now. Well, that's granted the natural development happens, but with this guy, I'm not worried about that. Good mechanics, takes good shots, smart player. Bro, I'm telling you right now, you can't teach his instincts. You can't teach his work ethic. You can teach a jump shot. You can fine-tune a jumper. And with his work ethic and work rate, which I've stressed and said 1,000 times in this video, I'm so confident he can be special. Now, one of the reasons why I was a bit uncertain of him being picked is because of the logjam you have at the guard position. And that's still something that's yet to be seen whether Quentin will be back or not. But I really see why Daryl liked this guy, because I have so much faith that he's going to be something. Obviously, maybe not now because he's just joined the roster, but I can see him being someone who holds guys accountable, being a standard setter. He's not going to accept anything less than 100% because he gives even more than that. So that's a culture guy as well as a talent and as well as someone who you want to build for the future with. So I'm very intrigued to see where that goes. And overall, I think the draft, now I thought about it more because people can say whatever. Part of being a man is realising that, once I do my research, my opinion can change. People can change my mind. When I say things, I'm not right all the time. I ain't Jesus. Nah. The whole point of me being here is to give my opinion, hear other people's opinions, do my due diligence, and hopefully I'm more educated and hopefully my opinion changes. And I'd like to say that Vj Edgecombe has definitely started to impress me a lot without even seeing him play in the Sixers uniform yet. Great guy, and I'm looking forward to see how this goes. And with Johni Broome, it'll be interesting to see. I don't expect him to have a massive role. Obviously, Summer League will be a good gauge to see how much he can do, whether his so-called capabilities actually translate to the NBA level, and whether Daryl Morey saw something which we didn't see. Because you're so used to centers more time in this current NBA either being 3-point snipers or mad athletic. Johni Broome's neither. So that puts him in kind of a weird spot. Or like an absolute dominant guy down low who just has great footwork. He's neither of those three. So it'll be intriguing to see what he can bring to the table, the level of competence he does have. But that's all yet to be seen. If it doesn't work out, it's the 35th pick. No one cares. But I do feel like there is some potential there. And I see where he's going. You heard Daryl Morey speak about he wants the roster to get younger. So would you prefer a second and third string center who's 33, 34 years old? Or would you prefer a center rotation of obviously Joel Embiid, Adem Bonner, and Johni Broome? And granted, Joel's going to miss time because he's probably going to load manage. That gives Adem Bonner and Johni Broome time to figure things out. He said he wants to go younger, so now he's doing that. Don't complain. There's other guys that he may have gone with that you might have thought was a better pick. But like I said, with Daryl's track record, I just got to trust the guy. And that's part of the reason why I'm so relaxed about what's going on here. They're building a culture here, and Vj Edgecombe's the number one culture guy. I'm impressed, and I'm intrigued to see what happens next. That sounds like poetry. Who the hell do I think I am? But I'm only joking. Thank you guys so much for listening. Damn, trying to sound like some motivational speaker, bruv. But thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you give me your opinions in the comment section down below. Let me know more about what you want to see content-wise. I thank you guys for your support this past week and a half, 2 weeks I've been back. It's meant the world to me. But yeah, like I said, I love reading your comments. I love hearing you lots of opinions, and I'll speak to you next time. Stay blessed, my people, and I'm out. Peace.